The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 is directed by David Blue Garcia and stars Elsie Fisher, Sarah Yarkin, and Alwyn Fiore. After nearly 50 years of hiding, Leatherface returns to terrorize a group of idealistic young friends who accidentally disrupt his carefully shielded world in a remote Texas town. My history with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise goes like this. I saw the first one for the first time yesterday, and then 2 hours later, I watched this film. My knowledge of this franchise is not far-reaching. I have no nostalgia for it. I just know that the first one is good. It's not amazing, but I can see why it was groundbreakingly terrifying when it came out because it is still definitely disturbing. And since that was the only one that was required viewing before having seen this film, I thought, why not enjoy myself? And I did enjoy the film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, on the other hand, ooh boy. I mean, it's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not really memorable enough to be awful. But we'll get into that stuff later on. For now, let's focus on the good stuff. Is there anything positive within this movie? Yeah, it looks cool. Not only would some of these shots and stills actually be really disturbing and unsettling on their own, but the film is also creatively brutal. From some unexpectedly cool fight scenes, to the makeup and prosthetics, to the bus massacre you see in the trailers, the kills and quite a bit of the cinematography in this movie are actually surprisingly awesome. That and the acting's not half bad. I mean, no one gives an amazing performance, and as for the characters, we'll get into the characters later on, but the acting's actually pretty good. So, since we're on the subject of the characters, let's get into some of the bad stuff involving this movie, starting with the characters themselves. I hated all of these people. Every single character in this movie, whether they're a main character or supporting character, are completely obnoxious and wholly unlikable, and you are just waiting for them to die. They are just there and are just so obnoxiously unlikable for the sheer focus of you wanting to see them die, and I hate that. The original film's characters weren't amazingly memorable or likable, but they were just simple people who just stumbled across a horrible situation. The horror came from how random it was. These characters are so unlikable in I keep saying obnoxious, but that's what they are. They are first world problem obnoxious, and they are just begging to be killed by anyone, not just Leatherface, but just the random bystanders. And since we're on the subject of the main cast from the original film, let's get to the big scream queen of the original film who comes back into this film for revenge. Sally returns as one of the main characters, at least that's what the trailers have you believe. In actuality, she is barely a side character. Not only is she an obvious ripoff of what the new Halloween films did with Laurie Strode's character, but she feels so forced into this story. She's only introduced in the middle of the film, has 2 scenes, including her intro before she squares off against Leatherface, and she barely says a line. Even as a newcomer, I felt pissed by how little Sally was in this movie. Imagine what fans must think of this decision. And I think a big part as to why she is in this movie so little is because this movie is over just an hour. This is like a 70-minute movie, not including credits, and it feels that way. This movie is so horribly rushed. You don't care about any of these characters because it feels like the movie wants to get to the kills as quickly as possible, so there's no time to really develop any relationship that these characters have with each other. Leatherface's return feels like it's fast-forwarded without any fanfare whatsoever. And when at the end of the movie comes around and the credits start to roll, you're just sitting on your couch, because this is only on Netflix, just sitting there pondering, just like, that's it? Did I miss something? The movie really does feel like it was chopped up in the editing room to hell, so much so that what we're left with is a shrewd carbon copy of what I feel like the filmmakers originally intended. Because, to be fair, there is effort actually put into this film. The kills and fight sequences are brutally creative, some of the shots and cinematography are actually inspired, and the acting's not half bad. But most of the main characters are stupid and obnoxious. Sally feels horribly forced into this story. The movie is neither scary nor is it particularly disturbing, and it just feels so horribly rushed. The movie is so short and goes by so quickly that it doesn't feel like I should even put effort into being mad at it, except for the fact that since there is so much effort actually put into this, and because all of that effort was so obviously chopped to pieces by the editor, by the producer, by whoever said to chop this film to pieces, it feels like all of that wasted effort, all of that potential good movie-ness is just washed away in favor of a movie that is bad and not even awful because of how forgettably short it is. I'm going to give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 a D. I got more angry than I thought I would. Maybe this movie's worth the effort after all. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below, what's your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? Let me know because I've only seen this one and the first one, and since this one's bad, I'm going to say the first one. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best, and don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.